March 2nd, 2015. Kazuo Inamori, the Holy Company of Japanese Management, at the invitation of Taiwan's Shinjuku, delivered a classic speech in Taiwan. The topic of the speech is people. Why live? 10 years, 83-year-old Mr. Kazuo Inamori, with their own personal experience and perceptions, shared his philosophy of life and business philosophy. Belief in cause and effect is emphasized. The mysteries of success, such as altruism, good deeds, and gratitude to the universe. Believe this speech. It can bring new inspiration to your life. The following is the full text of the speech more than 30 years ago. In order to be able to put yourself in the process of running a business, the management philosophy and life philosophy that you have learned, teach it to as many young entrepreneurs as possible. Morowa was established for the purpose of learning business management and give lectures to students on a voluntary basis. Since then, the learning activities of Morowa Juku have continued to expand. December 2011, Taiwan Shinjuku was officially established and held a book opening ceremony. At the same time, I heard, almost all of my books have been translated and published in Taiwan. It's not just the Confucianism of the saints and Confucians. Among the broad range of ordinary citizens, there are also many people who are enthusiastic about studying my philosophy. In order to help you in the future life path, it can be more exciting. Today, I want to focus on life, the way of thinking and the way of life that should be held. To people, why live? Let me share my thoughts on this topic. In the long journey of life since the fall to the ground, I understand a truth. People suffer. It's easy to complain. Will whine. And the more difficult the suffering, the grumbling and the resentment in the heart, there will be more. But these complaints, grievances, and dissatisfaction with life, not only will it not make your life any better, instead, it will make you suffer the consequences, push you further into a worse situation. It is my experience of more than 80 years of life. I think, no matter what life situation we are in, don't forget the feeling. Thank you for your gratitude. Always hold a heart of gratitude. Don't just show gratitude to the people around you. Gratitude to society and nature is also to be expressed. It is essential to have such a good mind. As long as you are in the journey of life, hold a crystal clear and beautiful mind. You will have a bright future in life. I firmly believe that. How life is formed. What will your future life journey look like? For these questions, no one knows. But I think in our journey of life, there is a sense of what life is. I still don't understand it at all. The path of our lives will be completely different. I am 83 years old this year. I come from a technician's background. At the beginning, we researched and developed new ceramics. At the age of 27, with the support of someone, the Kyocera Corporation was created. It has been in business for more than half a century. The beginning of the business. I often think, now I'm running a business. But whether this enterprise can develop smoothly or not, what can be done to avoid the tragedy of business failure? What can be done to ensure employee welfare? I pondered these questions while working hard every day. Meanwhile, I kept thinking about another question. It's what life really is. Each of us from birth to death. What kind of journey will it take? Is it already destined for everyone? Other words, not for everyone. They all have their own different destinies. I gradually felt, all of them, they are all burdened with their own innate destinies, born into the world, and follow the warp of the destined fate. Live life. I started to have this idea. At the same time, at the mercy of fate, we are in the course of life. All sorts of things will happen. In the process, if you want to do good deeds, and life will be. It will change for the better. That is, there is a law of cause and effect in life. I'm starting to have that thought again. Other words, when I go along with the fate that I was destined to do, on every node, because of their own ideas are different. The approach is different. There will be new and different life outcomes. The law of cause and effect, it also walks in our lives. In other words, each person has their own life. It's all about the warp of fate and the law of cause and effect. My thinking is one step closer. Believe in fate and the law of cause and effect. The opportunity was to read the book The Yin Road in China. I was very young at the time. I am troubled by business. This book. For life, fate and the law of cause and effect are intertwined. This point of view made an incisive and thorough answer. I would like to start with the general content of the book The Way of Yin. After introducing it to everyone, continue to the next question. The author of The Yin Road is called Yuan Lifan, because the way is the four precepts. This Chinese classic was written 400 years ago. Ming Dynasty in China. It's not too far from modern times. Yuan Lifan's original name was Yuan Shuahai. Someday, an old man with a long beard arrives at the home of the young snowy sea. Said to the sea of snow, I was in Yunnan specializing in the I Ching. The old man said that I came to this place by the mandate of heaven. Xiang Yuan Shuahai boy. Teach me the essence of the I Ching that I studied. That's why I came here from the far south. On this day, the old man lived in Shuahai's house. Shuahai's father died when he was young. The young Shuahai and his mother depend on each other. That night, the old man called Shuahai's mother to him, looked at Shuahai who was sitting on the side, talked about the future of the teenager Shuahai. The old man said that he learned from the sea mother. In the future, you want to train this child to become a doctor. Shuahai's mother replied, yes. That's what I thought. Our family started with his grandfather. One generation is a doctor. The father of the child, who died young, was also a doctor. So I'm going to make him a doctor in the future. The old man then said, no. This kid won't be a doctor. He would take the imperial examinations, become a high-ranking official in the future. Ahead, the old man continued. Which year will this child take the county exam? Ranked among the number of people. In which year will you take the exam in the house? How many people rank among them? A few years later, he took the entrance exam. How many people rank among them? The old man kept saying that he was a teenager. The results of future exams. The old man finally said, Shuahai will become a local governor at a young age. Marriage followed. It's a shame not to have children. Tianshou was 53 years old. This is the fate of this child. That night, the old man looked at Shuahai, while taking the life destiny of Shuahai. Tell his mother. An eccentric old man said something incredible. That night, I listened to the old man's words. The boy Shuahai thought so. But then, the life of a teenager learning the sea. Exactly as the old man predicted. Which exam to take in which year. Ranked a few places among the number of people. Without the slightest error. Everything was as the old man expected. In this way, Shuahai believed the old man's words. Also began to think. Everyone's life. It's all a fate that God has already arranged. After that, he came to Nanjing. There is a famous Zen temple in Nanjing. It's called Qixia Temple. There is a famous mage in the temple called Yunga Zen Master. Shuahai has long heard of his great name. Soon after arriving in Nanjing, just visit Qixia Temple. Consult Yunga Zen Master. Yunga Zen Master said, welcome. Bring the sea of snow into the temple. Say we sit in meditation together. All right. So the two of them meditated together. Snow Sea Zazen is very in place. The mood is clear and pure. There is not the slightest distraction or delusion. Looking at the appearance of the young Snow Sea Zazen, Yunga Zen Master both eats. Amazed and admired. It's really remarkable. Where have you practiced? You're young though. But being a Zen Master is so quiet. There is not a trace of distraction and delusion. I've never seen anyone do Zen as well as you. You must have gone through the hard work. Yunga Zen Master was full of praise for the sea of snow. Snow Sea replied, no. I don't have any special spiritual experience. The Zen Master praised me for not having distracting thoughts and illusions. Clarity of mind. It reminds me of something. Actually, when I was a teenager, an old man came to visit. Face my mother and me. It's my fate. He made all sorts of predictions. Later, my life turned out to be exactly what the old man said. Step by step to where it is today. just like the old man predicted. I'm married, but there are no children yet. I'm going to die when I'm 53. So that's how it will be in the future. If you want to do that, you want to do it. I want to do that. This kind of hope or ambition. I didn't have it at all. I just want to go with the flow of fate. Spend the rest of my life lightly. Shiwahai then said, I thought. Since fate so arranged, there's no need to think about superfluous things. You see, I'm in a clear state of mind. That's probably why. My life so far. Separation from the old man's prophecy. The path of my life in the future. And will go on as he prophesied. The young Zen master who originally listened to Shiwahai's speech with a pleasant face. Hear. His face suddenly became serious. He reprimanded Shuai harshly. I thought you were so young, so smart, as an enlightened idler. But you're a big fool. The Zen master went on to say that it was indeed as the old man had said. We all have different destinies on our backs. However, there is a world of complete resignation to fate. A fool who spends his life. Destiny can be changed. There is a law of cause and effect. Think of good things and do good things. Fortune will change for the better. Think bad things, do bad things. Fate will be in the direction. Bad outcome transformation. In the lives of each of us, there is such a law of cause and effect. Young Zen master taught the sea of learning. Shuai was born with integrity. I listened to the teachings of Zen master Younger. I was deeply moved. Leave the monastery and return home. I said to my wife that I would meet with the Zen master today. I learned such an important truth. From now on, I want to think about the good things as much as I can. Do good. Madam is also a person who is both wise and upright. It resonated with Su Hai's words. He replied, if you think so, I'll do the same with you. In the future, we will strive to have more good thoughts. Do many good deeds. The Silver Road book to this time. The scene suddenly changes. It became a scene where Fan told his son. He said, son, your father's life. It's the life I just talked about. I had the pleasure of meeting the Zen master at the Zen temple. After listening to his teachings on the law of cause and effect, I'll discuss it with your mother. It doesn't matter how small things are. We all have to think about good things together. Do your best to do good. And persevere. The result of this. It is said that it is impossible to be born. You were born. Said I was going to die at the age of 53. But I'm almost 70 years old this year. Still living so hard. This is the story that Fan told his son. It is the synopsis of In Jilu's book. When I read this book, I am also a reserved operator at the SME stage. I don't know when I think about it all day. The storm of economic depression hit. The company may go out of business. But the company can't be allowed to go out of business under any circumstances. We must continue to run the enterprise well. Employees of the business must be protected. At the same time, it is necessary to work hard to repay the shareholders for their contributions. For this reason, I was depressed, annoyed. At the same time, as a young man, I'm still worried about life. I can't even see what will happen a moment later. What is this life supposed to be? It's better to spend it in times of pain and trouble. I read this book. I thought to myself, I see. Since that's the case, then I should spend one. A life that coincides with the laws of life on the path of Yin, no matter what fate will bring. I have to think of good things and do good things as much as I can. Live your life like this. After reading the book The Way of the Yin, I had this thought. And it's very strong. However, I was only 27 years old at the time. Still young. And he was born in a science and engineering university. As a technician, he has been engaged in the research and development of new fine ceramics for a long time. Believe in a scientific and rational way of thinking. Although it is said that he thinks of good things and does good deeds, life will change for the better. Such a statement. Even if I want to believe, it's also hard to convince yourself completely from the bottom of your heart. I was trying to convince myself of the law of cause and effect, and when the distress is unbearable, I had the opportunity to hear about an astrophysicist, a theory about the formation of the universe. He said that we live in this universe 13.7 billion years ago. It's just the size of a fist. Clumps of elementary particles at high temperature and pressure. This clump after a big explosion. The present universe was formed. And he's still expanding. This is the theory known as the Big Bang. Listen to this statement. I began to believe in the existence of the law of cause and effect from the bottom of my heart. Other words, originally, the universe was just a small mass of elementary particles. But he never stopped growing and developing. Not even a momentary stop. Finally, after 13.7 billion years, higher beings like us humans were produced. Perhaps it could be said, in this universe, there is a lot of everything. Everything is constantly generating and developing. In other words, there is a kind of chi flowing in this universe. This chi cares for inorganic matter, organic matter as well. All the flora and fauna guide them to continue to develop in a good direction. The universe is full of love for all things. Love that leads them in a good direction. In other words, there is care for all things in the universe. The will of the universe that will guide them in a good direction. When I listened to astrophysics about the origin of the universe, after the most cutting-edge Big Bang theory, strong feelings in this universe exists. A will that is full of love for all things. At the same time I thought, it is because we live in such a universe. Hence what kind of desires? What to do? Significant. The universe is full of it. Guide everything. The will of the universe to develop in a good direction. Flowing with love for all things. Compassion for all things. The desire for all things and the thought that all things are good. It is because of us human beings survive in such a propulsion. And all things for the better. In a universe where everything grows happily. So, we just need to follow the will of the universe to do good and do good. That our fate. It will definitely develop in a good direction. The law of cause and effect mentioned in Injilu is not superstition. In astrophysics, the most cutting-edge Big Bang theory to explain. It makes sense. When I think about it, after such a deep understanding, I accept it from the heart. And believed in the existence of the law of cause and effect, since from a scientific point of view, the law of cause and effect also exists. Then I'll follow this rule. Make your life beautiful and wonderful. I was firm in my convictions. But even if I believe in the law of cause and effect, follow this rule to do things. Life is still difficult to fulfill. From time to time, disasters come and go. Sometimes it hits good luck. It's such a kind of flickering joy and sorrow, mixed joys and sorrows in life. I've come this far. In the process, I've worked hard and running a business has had many disasters. I've been lucky to have a lot of them. I think these are the tests of life. At the same time, I also realized, in the face of life's trials, how you respond is very important. This will determine the rest of our lives. Nature will be in the life of a person. Give us a lot of trials. What I call a test. Sometimes it's a disaster. Sometimes it's lucky. Luck is also a test. When we come to run. When embarking on the road of lucky life. Modesty is often forgotten. Become arrogant. They will even be extremely extravagant. Contempt for others. Even personality changes. In the end, due to forgetting modesty. Be arrogant. And abandoned by the god of luck who was finally patronized, thus plummeting, falling into the trough of life. So, just think of the examples of these people. We'll understand. It's not just disasters that are life's tests. Luck is also one of the tests given to us by the gods. I think, whether it's a disaster or a lucky one, how to deal with it, what action to take, it will affect the rest of our lives. I thought so. Just decide. Whether it's a disaster or a lucky encounter. No matter what the test is, I should accept it with gratitude. Even if something unfortunate happens. I want to be grateful too. Take the test of disaster. I would think so. Gods and nature. Let me suffer so deeply. It must have been to make me realize. What's in the reminder for me? That's why I was tested by calamity. Then I should be concerned with nature, which brings disaster. Express gratitude. Then I thought, we all have the power to overcome suffering, strong courage, and will to live on. No matter what kind of disaster you face, none should give in. Face the harsh realities. Take courage. With a strong will not to admit defeat, to try to overcome suffering. However, people are there, in the event of a disaster, often complaining, "Why did I suffer this misfortune?" So that they are sorrowful and lamenting, and they give up on themselves. But he complains and says strange things. Life is only going to get darker. I think we must not allow ourselves to be left in a situation of pessimism and disappointment, no matter what the disaster. It should be regarded as a test given by the gods. Accept it. Positive and optimistic. Blindly strive to move forward. I thought so, and gradually formed his own outlook on life. Talk about your specific life experience. I feel a little embarrassed, but I still want to look back on my life. Tell you a little bit about me. I was born in Kagoshima City, southwest Japan. When I was in elementary school, I was by no means the kind of smart and clever child. Has always been a naughty child king. During the Second World War, I applied for the most prestigious junior high school in Kagoshima City, because I don't have to work on weekdays. As a result, the name fell to Sun Mountain. Continued to apply to the school in the second year. Landing again. I was only 12 years old at the time. Meanwhile, I was very unlucky. I also contracted tuberculosis, with the horror of dying at any moment, fighting the disease. In the end, he defeated the high fever. I applied for a private high school. I finally passed the admission. It was during World War II. My family's house was bombed into rubble by a U.S. military plane. My father, who ran a printing shop, lost his job. After the war, we were on the barren land after the fire, living a life of exceptional poverty, because of living in poverty. In addition, the family conditions are limited. My parents didn't plan to let me go to college. Thanks to my high school teachers for convincing my parents. Finally got me into college. But I didn't get into my first choice university. In desperation, I had to study at the Faculty of Engineering of a local university, major in applied chemistry. After that, it was time to take office. That was in 1955, when I graduated from college. It was World War II. It's only been 10 years since then. In many places, there are still remnants of the post-war ruins. And the Korean War had just ended. It is a difficult time for employment. No company would hire me. That era. Students who have graduated from local universities, no matter how good the grades are, it's hard to get headquartered in Tokyo. Employed by first-class companies in major cities such as Osaka. The college instructor looked at me pitifully, sympathized with me, and ran back and forth for me. Finally, helped me find a ceramics company in Kyoto. This is an enterprise that produces high-voltage wire-insulated porcelain bottles. But I found out after I joined the company, although the company has a long history, but the company has been investing continuously since the end of the war. As a result, labor disputes within the company continued. Workers demand wage increases all year round, bonus sports, even the salary of me, a new employee. It is in arrears from the following month after employment. It was the first time that the family had paid their salaries. Will be in arrears for 1 to 2 weeks of the company. I had just joined the company in April of that year. But in the fall, the college students who joined the company at the same time have all left. In the end, I was the only one left. In those times when employment was difficult. Even if I resign, I have nowhere to go. And there is only one brother in the family. There are 5 younger siblings below me. I also had to support my younger siblings financially. So, in those times when employment was difficult, if you quit if you don't find a new company, definitely not. So I had to stay in this company. Since there is no choice, I made up my mind to be in the humble research room of this company. Attentively, try to do what was assigned to me. Research work on new fine ceramics. At that time, I felt that life was bleak and hopeless. To escape reality, allow yourself to forget about the pain and troubles in your life. I began to concentrate on it. Study. This is also what I did later. Even pots and pans were brought into the research room. Reasons to dedicate yourself to research. Instead of complaining. Ambition. Let life go to decadence. It's better to devote yourself to your work. I thought so. There will be no resentment and dissatisfaction in my heart. On the contrary, he can devote himself to research without distractions. Although there is no advanced research equipment. But I use my brain. Find a way, rely on creativity and improvement. It not only promotes the smooth development of research. Gratifying research results have also been obtained. As a result, my boss praised me. After the publication of research results in the society, it will also be praised by scholars. Get recognized. I'm even more energetic. Work harder. And the harder you try, the more smoothly the research progresses. And so it entered a virtuous circle. From this time on, my fate took a turn for the worse, constantly developing in a good direction. That's because I've had this personal experience. The following thoughts naturally came to me. That's what I mentioned earlier. Think of calamity as a test given by the gods. Accept it. Be positive. Blindly strive to move forward. Since childhood, all the misfortunes that happened when I entered the company, and the subsequent turn of my fortunes. Think about this process of my life. I'm acutely aware. In this world, there really is a law of cause and effect, and the results shown by this law of cause and effect, it's conclusive. I believe in the law of cause and effect from the bottom of my heart. Kyocera was created when I was 27 years old. Sales now exceed 1,400 billion yen. To become an indispensable manufacturer in the Japanese industry. One of them and theirs. The second Denden was founded 30 years ago and the current KDDI. Through mobile network operator AU and other businesses. Sales have exceeded 4,300 billion yen. It has also grown into a great company. 2 companies per year. The total profit has exceeded 800 billion yen. Staggering numbers. It can be said that these 2 companies, all of them have become very outstanding and excellent enterprises. There is another example. That is, I was recently involved in the reconstruction of Japan Airlines, late 2009. The Japanese government and Corporate Revitalization Support Organization make a strong request to me. Japan Airlines is facing bankruptcy. For reconstruction, please become the chairman of Japan Airlines. For the air transport business. I'm a complete layman. And I'm getting older, too. So, for whether to accept or not, I was also distressed. Initially, I felt like I didn't fit in. Rejected several times. And my friends and relatives were strongly opposed. Some friends are even worried that I won't be able to protect my late childhood. Well thought out. Compare what I've been doing since I was young. Contribute to humanity. It is the most noble act of human beings. The following 3 reasons are also taken into account. In the end, there was no refusal. It was decided to accept them as chairman of Japan Airlines. Request. However, at the beginning, I thought that I was old. It is proposed that it is impossible to work full-time. Just work 3 days a week. Also, my home is in Kyoto. My wife still lives there. If you take over the job of JL, I had to stay in a hotel in Tokyo. This is also what I consider working 3 days a week. One of the reasons. At the same time, I proposed. Since I work 3 days a week. So don't pay either. That's it. I accepted the position of chairman of Japan Airlines, although promised to take over the job. But I have a lot of interest in the air transport industry. Ignorance, so to speak. And empty-handed. There are no identified resources. Newspapers, magazines, and other media have also taken a cold eye on each other. And questioned. Reconstruction of Japan Airlines. It's hard for anyone. Not to mention being in manufacturing. The business manager who was a technician won the battle. He will not succeed in rebuilding. Even so, nor did I waver in my convictions. Because I think JL's reconstruction have 3 great meanings based on altruism. First, to revive the Japanese economy. Japan Airlines. Not only is it one of Japan's leading companies, it's still one. A company that symbolizes the ongoing recession of the Japanese economy. If Japan Airlines can't rebuild, in the case of a second bankruptcy. Not only will it be a heavy blow to the Japanese economy, it may even cause the Japanese people to lose their self-confidence. The reverse is true. If the rebuilding is successful, it can give the people the courage to rise up. Even such a terrible Japanese aviation can be rebuilt. Of course, the Japanese economy should be able to be reborn. Second, for the employees retained by Japan Airlines. Although it's a pity, in order to make JL's reconstruction a success, had to lay off some of the staff. But JL still has 32,000 employees. In any case, make sure that these people work. If these people lose their jobs again, that's just pathetic. That's the second reason that comes to mind. Third, for the sake of the people. Other words, ensuring the interests of aircraft passengers. If Japan Airlines goes bankrupt completely, a major airline in Japan, there is only one left. In this way, the competition mechanism is ineffective. Ticket prices will go up. Service may also deteriorate. This is certainly not good for the people. Only in a sound and fair playing field. Several airlines are struggling each other in order to be able to provide passengers with better prices and better service. For this reason, the presence of Japan Airlines is very necessary, precisely because of the consideration of the reconstruction of Japanese aviation. With such an altruistic heart, 3 significant significance, or righteousness, I decided to become JL chairman, fully committed to reconstruction, appointed to JL. After the chairman, I try to get the employees of JL. I also understand these 3 meanings. This is how employees are aware. Japan Airlines is not rebuilding just for itself, and, for the sake of the world, has a noble name of righteousness, so that the employees do everything to make efforts, actively engaged in the reconstruction of JL. Luckily, the employees of JL saw that I was very old, but he took over without hesitation. Everyone thought it was very difficult. JL rebuilt without any pay, but worked hard. All of them are grateful. It was also mentioned earlier. At first, I thought about working only 3 days a week. But after actually putting into reconstruction work, the time I worked at JL headquarters increased from 3 to 4 days per week. Later from 4 days to the end. I'm close to 80 years old. Most of the week, all stayed at hotels in Tokyo. For rice, I ate 2 rice balls bought from a convenience store. That's how my life was during that time. The employees saw me doing my best to rebuild JL. The look of desperate effort. I think from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Inamori, who had nothing to do with JL, so desperately trying. Where for our own company, we should have put in more effort. After becoming chairman of JL, I will announce the new life right away. JL's business purposes. It is the pursuit of all employees, happiness in both material and spiritual terms, and repeatedly emphasize this to the employees. Other words, I put the purpose of the existence of Japan Airlines in the future, neither for shareholders. It is not for the selfish interests of the operators themselves. It's for the happiness of all employees of this company. This unwavering belief is passed on to the employees. Put my beliefs, business philosophy. It became the newborn Japan Airlines. The business philosophy. By stating the purpose of the company's operations, let the employees of Japan Airlines know. Japan Airlines is our own company. And then we all have the courage to face the reconstruction of JL. This strong will. And so it goes. I think I am a partner in the reconstruction of my company. Do your best. From company officials to general employees, all with a self-sacrificing spirit and attitude. Invest in reconstruction. In addition, I will also put my own philosophy of life. Management philosophy and philosophy of scripture are the way of thinking. To the officers and employees of Japan Airlines, was elaborated. That is, to try to explain it to everyone. In order to realize the great purpose of the reconstruction of Japan aviation. For all employees, happiness in both material and spiritual terms. It has to be that way of thinking. Values judgment benchmark. To treat the work. I strive to make all the staff share this way of thinking. the benchmark for judging values. Through this philosophy, specifically, this includes being humble and honest. Keep a cheerful and honest attitude. Serious and desperate dedication to work hard. Keep improving, be grateful, and so on. These sums up the correct principles of being a human being, or in other words, it summarizes the good deeds that people should do. I explained this philosophy to JL employees one by one, and every employee is required to be in their respective positions, desperately trying. Practice philosophy to do good and good deeds that people should do. As a result, JL has been criticized as a clerical company. Service has been significantly improved. All employees put passengers first, consciously provide high-quality service from the heart, and the performance has been improved. Air transport industry. Because of having many expensive aircraft and related equipment repair plants. So, it is easy to mistake it for a huge equipment-based industry. And in fact, it is the ultimate service industry. Because, how to make our customers happy to take our flights. Then what? All important. Inside the airport. Check-in counter attendants. How to deal with passengers. Flight attendants on board. How to take care of guests on the plane. The captain and co-pilot who are responsible for safely piloting the aircraft. How the in-flight broadcast is made to passengers. Personnel responsible for aircraft maintenance. Handling of luggage and other ground staff. How to work with heart. There are these employees who work in the field. Nodes with passengers. It is the most important for the air transport industry. Only through these services, I make the passengers produce. The idea of taking this flight next time. In order to increase the number of customers. Grow your performance. So, I went straight to the site and talked to the employees. Ask every employee who has direct contact with passengers. What kind of mindset should be held? What kind of thinking must be used to do the work, etc. In order to make every employee aware of it, we should think about what is right and good for others. And try to put it into practice. That's it. I've been instilling in my employees what I mean to be human. To do good deeds, this thought. And this kind of thinking permeates among employees. Make the performance of Japan Airlines. Miraculous improvements have been made. Japan Airlines in the first and second year of reconstruction. Each achieved a record 180 billion yen. And sales profit of more than 200 billion yen. This is also the highest among the world's airlines. Equivalent. About half of the total profits of the world's airlines. In addition, Japan Airlines in September 2012, relisting on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. As a result, we have not only returned to the corporate revitalization support organization. The initial capital injection was 350 billion yen, plus 300 billion yen. A total of 650 billion yen was returned to the government. Afterwards, Japan Airlines continues to deliver good results, and we have maintained a high-yield system. After the completion of the JL reconstruction, I stepped down as chairman of JL in March 2013. Lately, I've been going to bed every night, looking back on the days and nights of the past 3 years. Deep thought. Why JL rebuilt? Able to achieve miraculous success. In order to break the bureaucracy inherent in Japanese aviation, I worked hard to make organizational changes, establish a clear accountability system. In order to raise awareness of accounting, actively build a management accounting system. These changes, it has really made a huge difference to the reconstruction effort, but lately I've become more and more aware. Reconstruction of Japan Airlines. The reason for this miraculous success. The real reason for it. It's what I have in my heart. This pure heart for doing good deeds. As described earlier, in order to revive the Japanese economy, to ensure that employees remain in JL, it's also for the sake of the Japanese people. I put together a handful of old bones of my own. No penny will be taken. Great efforts have been made for JL. The employees of the company are also gradually unifying their thinking. Work hard with me. See me only with altruism. I've been working hard. Even the gods and the heavens have mercy on me. So a helping hand was reached. Not exactly the law of cause and effect just mentioned, But it is indeed the love of the universe that saves us. Without the blessing of the gods, it was impossible to achieve such miraculous success. It is the love, salvation, and compassion that exists in the universe, the chi of all things, and the will of the universe has helped us, because we think good and do good, and work hard for it. So I got the great love of the universe. Other words, we got the wind of his favor. In Buddhism, there is a saying about the wish of the Buddha. I firmly believe that as long as we work hard to think about good, you will definitely get the wind of his advantage. The rebuilding of JL is a testament to this. Now for the success of JL's reconstruction. The community is praising me. This is not the case. There is such an aphorism in Indian Sanskrit as a great man. The reason why the operation was successful, not so much by the means by which he acted. It's not so much with a pure heart, as stated in this adage. I rebuilt this action by JL. The reason for the success. It is not by importing the so-called management, accounting system as a means of action. Rather, by virtue of the people who carry out these jobs. Possession of pure mind. This pure heart and act of mine received mercy from heaven. A helping hand was extended to me, looking back on the days and nights of JL's reconstruction in the past 3 years. I became more and more convinced of this idea. Lately, I've been saying to myself every night before I go to bed, not my own power. It's a God. The universe has given me strength and help in my good deeds. And clasped their hands together. Thanksgiving to the universe and to the gods. Like I said to you today, if you think good and do good, destiny will turn for good. I think this JL reconstruction has been a success. This is the most appropriate example of this. The same is true of everyone's life. Don't just rely on your own strength. It also relies on the power of the gods, the power of nature, and the power of the universe. When these are great powers that surpass human intelligence, tremendous support for our lives. This is very important. With a beautiful, kind heart and altruistic heart, spend every day. A great power beyond human intelligence will give us support. This is by no means a difficult thing to do. It's all up to your heart. Just like Yuan Li Fan in today's Path of Cause. Start small. Try to think and do good. Try to make your heart as pure and beautiful as possible. Even if you're in a difficult situation, just keep trying. The forces of nature. It will make things go in a good direction. Can make life more exciting. In my more than 80 years of life, there have been many such experiences. Because of this, I often want to purify my mind now. Make the mind more beautiful. Not only can it bring good results, that's what we live for. We are not on our own will, and came into this world, when we are sensible, already under the care of parents, living in this world. Again, it has nothing to do with our will. We will follow the laws of fate and cause and effect. A life journey that is intertwined, walking to this day. During this period, there were disasters that befell you. There is also luck. Face these trials. We have to hone our souls. Shaping a beautiful mind. I think this is also the purpose of life that God has given us. The so-called honing of the mind. It is to hone the soul. In other words, it is to improve the personality. Shaping a beautiful humanity. Human beings are inherently interested in truth, goodness, and beauty. That's what it means. Kindness means kindness. Beauty means beauty. Humanity has the desire to explore these 3 areas. I think it's due to humanity itself. Possess this use of the words truth, goodness, and beauty. The beauty of the true self and soul that is embodied. In this way, we humans have the love, sincerity, and the heart of harmony. That's what we live for. And to shape this love, sincerity, and harmony, you can also make your life more abundant. In Buddhist thought, the soul can be reincarnated. According to this thought, my soul relies on Kazuo Inamori's body, came into the world. When the flesh dies, my soul will have a new journey. Other words, my soul will be reborn into reality through other physical bodies, if that's the case. So these 70 or 80 years of our existence, maybe it's the time to hone the soul of reincarnation. Our innate soul is in reality, washed and honed in the waves. It gets better. I think that's what our lives are all about. In the face of death, we should have more than we were born. A better soul. Have a soul full of love. Otherwise, it is worthless to live in reality. In other words, life is about honing the soul. A dojo that sharpens the mind, even if it is intended to hone the mind. But it's humans who can't do it, even with the intention of doing good, but always holding on to whether to make money, whether it is beneficial to oneself or not. This kind of selfish thinking is also human. When this malicious idea arises, beat him in time. It's like a game of snoring. As soon as it comes out, I will call back. This is very important. I think it's important to do introspection every day like this. It is indispensable for honing the mind. Through spiritual practice, become an enlightened person with a good personality. Of course, it's very good. But for those of us mortals, go through a rigorous spiritual practice. Become a person with an excellent personality. It's a hard thing to do. Nevertheless, I think that if you can do it, you can try to improve your personality. Hone your mind, elevate the soul, and repeated efforts. Isn't this kind of behavior itself also worthy of respect? Other words, try to let kindness and gentleness spring up in your heart as much as possible. A beautiful vision. When evil thoughts arise, give yourself a shout. Angry about it. In this way, evil thoughts are controlled. It seems futile, because man's evil thoughts will not disappear completely. It always pops up from time to time. But I think it's important to do this every day. I hope you are in the dojo of life. We must also strive to think and do good. Everyone's soul and heart can also be tempered. And a beautiful mind that has been honed. The aspirations depicted. I will also be able to make my own time more exciting. Of life. Again. Nature has given us all a wonderful life. Originally, there should be no unfortunate people in this world. There can be no unfortunate people. That's how nature arranges it. Nature was handed over to us. What kind of mindset should it be? Thinking and way of facing life. It doesn't deliberately embarrass us. Distort our lives. Our lives. It's exactly as it is portrayed in our hearts. It is rare to have the opportunity to meet you here today. My best wishes. Everyone is able to have a wonderful life. I hope you leave this world, even if it's not a very lucky life. I can think of it the same way. That's enough for life. I've had a wonderful life that hones my mind. Thank you for watching today. If you find the video interesting, please subscribe, like, and comment.